All right, we're off again. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, it's the usual problem. I've got tons of things that I need to be running through the editor and posting online, but I'm much more interested these days in just accumulating more shoes because the more I have, to me, it seems the more convincing the whole sort of campaign, which is what it is really. The whole campaign becomes. I mean, it's a question of trying to convince as many people as I can reach that these games can be beaten, but not the way the vast majority of people try to do it. So they're doomed to failure. It's kind of like, oh, I don't know, school children getting into the ring with a professional boxer. I mean, yeah, once in a while a kid will land a punch and do some damage, but on the whole, it's a losing battle, and that's exactly how it is for sort of I don't, all except maybe 1 in 10,000 gamblers. I used to say 1 in 1,000, but I don't think that's accurate. I think it's a much smaller number than that. 1 in 10,000 might be about right. And of course the 9,999 are the ones who build the casinos, keep the lights on, keep the staff paid, and all of that stuff. So anyway, off we go. A new day, a new dawn, and I don't know what's coming. All right? Double for the loss. 1, 2. Oh, it's a great start, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4. 7, 8 already? I was about to say I do have one rule, and that is that I won't run away in the first five on a new shoe. I just don't think that's polite. But beyond that, yeah, I think the reason that I've had as many flights to blackjack as I've recorded recently is probably, I mean, I don't know this for certain, but it's probably because I'm sort of like going before a bet is denied or illegal before I hit the table limit. I'm going a little too soon, so I don't know. I mean, who knows? Who knows? But anyway, what did I just do there? I lost again. What? Oh God, another 1, 2. Definitely not in the groove this time. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ick. 7, 8 again. I think this might be flight time any second. 15, 8. I think I'll go to banker just in case. Okay, 15, 16. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so we are going to run away from this one, and we're going to be 3, 4 on player when we start a new shoe. In thousands, of course. It just seems to be throwing much more crap at me than it used to, this platform. It's like they tightened the screws or flipped a switch or something like that. Anyway, we are now on 3, 4 on player because I never start a new shoe betting on banker. Oh, bingo, bango. Back to the minimum. Double for the tie. +1. 1. 1, 2. Minimum. Okay, so we had 7,000 on the table at most, and we won 1,200, something like that. So to me, that's a good return. You know, we're lending the house a little bit of money, or sometimes quite a big bit of money, for a very short period of time, and then we're getting it back with interest. And I consider 1,200 interest on 7,000 lent for maybe 30 seconds. It's not too bad. All things considered. Repeat. Minimum. Double for the loss. 1, 2. Yikes. Here we go again. 3, 4. All right. Back to the min. Double for the loss. 1, 2. I'll repeat. 51. Double for the tie. Thank you very much. Minimum. Excuse me. +1. +1. 1, 2. Minimum. Double for the loss. Repeat. Minimum. +1. 51. Repeat. 1, 2. Try again. 3, 4. Try again. Oh, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh dear. 15, 8 going to the bank. All right, we're going to call that. Well, that worked out, didn't it? Quite nicely. All right, on the bank. 2, 3, maybe the last bet on the bank. No, it's not. Try again on the bank. Maybe leaving. Try again. Well, the bank doesn't want to let us go, does it? Like it cares. Repeat. Min. Double for the tie. 3, 5, maybe running away from the bank. 3, that's 8, 5, so that's 2, 1 player. 1, 2. We're in the groove with this one for now at least. +1. Double for the tie. 1, 2. 3, 4. +51. Repeat. 1, 2. +1. +1. Pretty good way to end, really. 33 wins, 29 losses. 69. Maybe I'll go for a shorter one this time. 10 minutes, 4,410. I think that's all right, don't you? Let me know what you think. Anyway, so we save this one and go and have a look at them. All right, got a bit of housework to do here, so I'll do that. Okay, so in my opinion, 4,410 in 10 minutes is decent. We had one GAG, and then the other one was a relatively short shoe because it did cut us off. So we'll go and have a look. And what have we got? We've got 1 win and 10 losses. Christ on a bicycle. That was not good. Anyway, just bear with me a sec. I've got a little work to do here. Okay, and here's the second shoe. 33 wins, 29 losses. So we are about 6 bets behind on these 2 shoes. And again, the whole point of me doing this over and over and over again, apart from my own enjoyment, which definitely does come into the picture. But the whole point is, I'm much happier if I can show you that I made money in spite of losing more bets than I won, then maybe you'll get on board with this. And when I say get on board with it, I mean absolutely no strings on my part. I'm not asking money from anybody. I'm not asking for anything from anybody. All I'm trying to do is to get as many people to understand that it is stupid, idiotic, self-destructive, pointless, reckless, irresponsible to tackle any of these tilted table games, casino table games, without the proper resources. And appropriate resources basically mean whatever your minimum bet might be, and of course I always use 25, you need at the very minimum 1,000 times that, and sometimes as your bankroll. And basically you're better off. The bigger the spread that you can make, the better off you are. And remember, as soon as you hit the table limit anywhere, whatever the game might be, don't don't sort of settle for a smaller bet. Just simply say, all right, casino, you don't get to tell me how much I can bet and when and where. I'm out of here. And you just pick up your chips, make sure that you have your down and out numbers in your head safely, or written down on a piece of paper if necessary, if you're as scatterbrained as I am sometimes. And just your down being, of course, the full amount that you're in the hole, plus the various little bits that you've added along the way, the top-ups, so that when turnaround finally comes, it's profitable enough to make it worth your while, to cover the time that you've had to spend fighting this time and the exposure that you faced fighting this time. And remember, each one of these little battles is a skirmish. I like to call them skirmishes because they're short battles. And yeah, the war is a whole big thing going on, but don't think about the big picture, small picture. That's all that matters. And it's the patterns. It's, mostly the most you need to turn around is 2 consecutive wins, which is very common. It's not as common as we'd like it to be, but it is common enough to keep the money rolling your way. Think in terms of patterns. Don't think in terms of shoes. Don't think in terms of stupid smokescreen things like cuts and shuffles and I don't know, dropped cards and what it says on the board and whether you have a gut feeling or whatever. Never, ever trust your gut because it will let you down slightly more often than it helps you. That's the nature of these games. The house edge hits everything except progressive betting in general and pattern betting in particular. So just remember all that stuff And now I've got to do my little number here. Okay, so that's the story. Yeah, we certainly got ahead of the house this time, 33-29, big whoop. But the last one, we had 1 win and 9 losses. So, we're, like I say, we're sort of like, what was that? That was 8, and then here we got 4. So now we're 8 behind, and now we're 4 ahead. So yeah, so we're 4 behind on these 2 shoes, and that's all you need to think about. If you can bet in such a way that, in spite of losing more bets than you won, you're making money to the tune of, what was it this time, 4,410, then you're doing good. If losing more bets than you win costs you money, you're doing bad. That's simple. All right then, so here we go with the last 2 shoes, and you can see always the date here, today's date. Seems helpful to me to have that information. Well, it seems to me helpful, and it's certainly helpful to me. That's all I'm trying to say. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at another success. The house kicked our ass, minus 6.3%, 34 wins, 39 losses. Average win 372, average loss 211. Average win value over average loss value 176%. That's good. Indicated result, that's what you get when you take the actual value and multiply it by pattern betting's action, which is here, 20,000 in total. You would get an indicated or suggested or expected result if the mathematicians were not lying in their teeth, minus 1,303, and instead we won 4,410. Whoop-de-doo. Overall, we're now at 332 shoes. We're running at a 3.9% overall win rate, which is diminishing very definitely, but once in a while, 10 times so far in these 332 shoes, we've had to run to blackjack for the higher table limits, and so this is not complete. Down here, we've got the average win per hour for both games. It's over 5,000, 5,500 an hour, which is it's decent pay, I think. I mean, that's more than most of us make on an average day. So I'm pleased with that. What else can I tell you? Go down below, have a look at the chart. We're still heading to the top right, which is where we want to go. The one thing that I've added here is information about how much we won overall. We get like here we got a blackjack turnaround of 50,000, but that's not exactly accurate in terms of what the final win was. So what we made was 14,250, and we go on up here, 11,925, 6,325. Well, you can read, can't you? This one was ridiculous. What happened here, of course, was that we had it was either a double down or a triple down, where we made a huge amount of money because we had maximum out there, and we ended up making that, which is not definitive or representative or anything like that, except, of course, it is representative of what happens in blackjack. Whereas out of the blue, you get an opportunity and it either goes tits up or you make a shitload of money, and that's what happened that time. Similarly here, I think we got a double down, or not a double down, a natural at the end of that session, and then 10,000 there, 12,625, and that's it. So, good stuff. I hope you agree. I'm certainly pleased with the way things are going. I mean, we are, a considerable number of bets now. We're looking at, and of course we got blackjack is 77% of the total win, because the blackjack wins have to be taken on their own and applied over here, 865,000 in 10 gags from baccarat to blackjack. And so we're looking at now 23% for baccarat out of the total win, which is now 117 cents. Well, you can see that. So that's where we're at. Nothing much else to talk about, I don't think, this time. So I'll go back over here and see you next time.